What's up, BKFC fans? We're back with the podcast, the BKFC podcast. It's David Feldman, president and founder, Brian Sosha, and Awkward Rob.
How's everyone doing today?
Awkward Rob.
James Buster Douglas.
Yeah, big moment for him today.
James Buster Douglas. 31 years ago today, he knocked out Mike Tyson in what was probably one of the biggest upsets in combat sports history. He went into that fight. His mom died. He dedicated that fight to his mother. He knocked out, I think he was a 36-1 underdog. He knocked out the Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Ironically, the reason why I brought that up is the connection that we have is my dad and Russell Peltz were actually co-promoters on James Buster Douglas 2 fights before he fought Mike Tyson. So they missed cashing out on that thing big time.
That was the big coin of the 90s right there, man.
Yeah,
Crazy,
was huge
man.
when that happened,
Crazy,
man.
yeah.
That was so big at the time. WWE actually had Mike Tyson booked to do something on Saturday night's main event, and then they had to real quick renegotiate and get Buster Douglas to come in. It was a big deal, man.
Buster Douglas, I mean, and then he went on, for my brother, he fought celebrity boxing.
Straight up.
He did it all. So we have a pretty cool connection with James Buster
That's
Douglas.
cool.
Really cool guy.
I think he even got his own Sega Genesis video game. He was so big for
He
a minute.
did. He absolutely did.
That was
Crazy,
awesome.
man.
That's
Good
crazy
guy.
connection.
Yeah, this day in sports history.
With David Feldman, that's right. But what about, let's talk, everyone wants to hear about Knuckle Mania, dude. Knuckle Mania was incredible. I've worked for you guys for, I think this is my 5th or 6th show with you. I've watched the whole time, and I must say, from a fan's perspective, not a guy that's working for you, I think it was our best event ever. I mean, it was constant action. I mean, you guys watched as well. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, what we built and this team really, we came together as you guys were in the office, and we don't want to go too much on 2 weeks prior to this event. We had a little episode here in the office, and I let you guys know how important this show was to us. How important.
He
how
flipped
much,
the fuck out. Just a heads up. He fucking flipped out. So, yeah. It was scary.
Guys, that we were, this is it. This show has to be the best show we've ever done, and it delivered, man. Thank you guys, really. Thank you guys. Thank the fighters. The fighters fought their fucking asses off. Okay. They just fought their asses off. Like, it was unbelievable. And then we start off with Taylor Starling versus Carissa Cigla on the main card.
They set the tone, man.
We had some good fights on the undercard. Travis Thompson looked good.
Jared was on there too. Jared, Kid
Jared
Gotti.
Grant.
I'm a big fan of Kid Gotti. I think that to be so young in bare knuckle and to be a pro fighter in bare knuckle, he has so much skill in that ring. The way he moves. I mean, I know Chris Lytle's a big fan of him too. Just to watch him work.
His composure is that of a veteran.
Do we want to talk
20
about
years.
his opponent a little bit?
Brandon Lambert. The troll come to life. Hey man, I take my hat off to anybody that comes into the ring whatsoever. I mean, you're putting your life on the line. So this guy was begging for a fight, and he showed up and he delivered. To be completely honest with you, I mean, I thought he got into Jared's head a little bit. I mean, first round he looked a little.
He definitely did. I mean, he tried. Really? He didn't have any real experience coming in here, and we didn't know that we thought he had a big background, and he didn't. We investigated it. We tried to get, make sure, because the main thing here, it's not like, well, we want to investigate and dig something up on the guy. We want to make sure they're safe.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And he ended up getting knocked out.
But didn't he claim he had like 40-some Muay Thai fights, so we found out that that's not true?
Yeah, but you know what? He did have some experience.
He did have fight experience, yeah.
He did fight, and he had an awkward style. He went out there, and look. At the end of the day, I take my hat off to any of these guys that go out on their shield, right? If they're willing to go out on their shield, not turn their back, not quit, and go out on their shield, he went out on his shield, and he wants to come back, and we'll talk as a team collectively to see what makes sense there. But
I mean, it's free.
It right
the prelims are free right now on YouTube. I mean, let's ask the fans.
Yeah,
do you want to see him back or not?
Yeah, it's a great thing to do, Rob. I think that's smart. And if you have not seen the event yet, I would urge you to order the pay-per-view. But watch the prelims.
He took some good punches. He really did. I mean, look, for a guy with, a
limited background.
But not only that, he also never has been that light in his life, ever.
Okay.
So he went down to 135 pounds. He should have fought at 145.
I also think he was very confident, too. I mean, you could see
look how relaxed Jared Grant looks.
I know,
so I told Jared Grant, I said, look, we're going to step up the competition on this next fight for you. if you win this next fight, you're probably going to be in line for a 135-pound title shot.
And he's loving this because this is huge for Jared Grant. I mean, when we investigated him and learned more about him as he showed up, this guy has such an interesting background, Jared Grant. He was essentially homeless. His trainer, his coach Ryan, became like a father figure to him and took him in and would drive him to training. I mean, this kid gets hit in the stomach with like a stick to toughen up, and he pushes his trainer's car. Like that's part of his training.
Yeah.
Junior, what's that? A stick, a spoon, or a wrench?
What did you use? What did you use, right? But
pick your poison, man. Get out of line. Pick your poison.
Down south, they make them break their own switch off, and they go back and they make them break it off, and they bring it back in. That's what they used to do down south.
Yeah. So look, man, great way to start off the card with these two fights.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he came in and he did what he had to do, and he knocked the guy out. And Brandon Lambert definitely gave all he had. He tried his best, and he gave all he had. And then we move on to the main card with Carissa Cigla versus Taylor Starling.
What an opener.
What
a way to start Knuckle Mania, officially.
Probably one of the best fights I've ever seen in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship history.
Absolutely.
Probably one of the...
Absolutely.
I could be one of the top 10 fights I've ever seen in combat sports, period. I mean, just give and take and give and take. And Carissa Cigla got caught, got dropped, got back up, and just started throwing punches again. I mean, it was an unbelievable fight. I really, really, really enjoyed that fight, and they were awarded Fight of the Night. Their bonuses were about double of what their original purse was. So we made sure that they were taken care of because, as we say in the beginning of the night when you're back there and we talk to the fighters, if you want to talk about that a little bit, how I get that little speech. And
Dave, I think it's cool. I know you've seen it too, Rob. Gives a speech at the beginning of the night and basically tells everybody how happy he is that they're there to be fighting and how they are to conduct themselves, which that's normal. But he also throws out, say, look, the harder you fight, the more money you're going to make. And, we're all capitalists. We like to make money. So what does that do? That makes them fight harder. That makes everybody even more hungry for that money. And you always do provide the money. And I'll tell you, I talked to both of those women after the fight. I talked to the woman that won, Starling, later that night. And she told me that it was her debut. 24, I think she is years old.
Yeah. Well, her bare knuckle.
Yeah, bare knuckle debut. I should be more specific. But she said walking to the squared circle, that you didn't see this when you're watching, and we never noticed, but to get in a fighter's head, she said she was so nervous. And she also told me that during that fight where they threw, like 200 and some punches each in 5 rounds, 5 2-minute rounds,
crazy.
She said during the fight she didn't feel like she even threw enough punches. Think about that.
That's great, man.
Yeah, right?
Look at her there.
I mean,
both of these girls were so respectful afterwards, thankful. I mean, Taylor sent me a video saying, thank you so much for the opportunity, how much you changed combat sports. And, it's amazing that we're giving these guys opportunities, but there's just something about women, right? Like these women fights, almost every one of our women fights
they're some of the
unbelievable.
best.
Yeah. So Paige said that last night about women fight. She feels like women fight or flight response. Like they fight with more of it's a different kind of passion than men do. It's a different type of passion, which I could see that. I could see what she's saying.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting she touched that last night. But also, Dave, you and I were talking about this, Rob, as well, before we went on the air. And I examined this last night with Paige on our Sirius XM show. Stephen A. Smith having some stuff to say about women.
What a blowjob.
Oh, wow. Okay. Having some
I'll
stuff
say
to
it right now. Stephen A. Smith, you're a fucking jerk.
Dude,
Hold on.
look,
For those of the people might not know what he said.
Yes.
So basically, he was saying that.
Actually, do we have a quote we can throw up there of what he said? Because I know we can find one. Let's throw it up there so
Let's get
everybody
him
can
on the
see
podcast.
what Stephen A.
Somebody,
Smith said.
Somebody at Stephen A. Smith,
So
please.
if anyone has ever saw the videos of Stephen A. Smith training, you know that he fights or throws punches worse than any girl I've ever seen. And he's probably never been punched in his face in his life, although he looks like he has a couple times.
Jeez.
And he's probably never hit someone with a fist in his life. And I have to call him out because he said he doesn't want to see women fighting in the octagon. Obviously, he definitely wouldn't want to see him fighting here.
No way.
And these women put on the best fights that we've had. I mean, nothing away from the guys. But these girls go in there and literally fight their asses off, come out with cuts and swollen faces, and do whatever they have to do to entertain these fans. And you got a guy like Stephen A. Smith who's did put on a boxing glove and punched down. If you saw him in the video, it's actually a joke, and I like to see it if we can see it. But Stephen A. Smith to call out girls and say they shouldn't be in the octagon, maybe you should start wearing a dress or something, Stephen A. Smith. Wear a dress on your next interview.
Well, I think that what he said was first that there'd be no reason that men and women should fight, and I think we all agree with that. And as we listened to the quote last night with Paige, she agreed with that, as do I. But then when he went on, he had us at that part. Then he started saying about women not fighting. And I think where she became offended was not as a woman, but as a fighter. And you're a former fighter. You would understand this. they're not two women or two fighters in bare knuckle that are going in that are having a barroom brawl. These people are, and we've watched it at American Top Team. They're highly trained. They're professionals. It's not like two women off the street. They're going to have a cat fight. And I think that's what kind of upset her a little bit. And me being in this industry now too, I thought the same thing. We watch these people train, how hard they train. He's almost treating it when he's two women that are going to get in like a cat fight. That's what it sounded like to me, at least.
It's just unbelievable. But let's move on from that guy because we don't need to spend too much time with that guy. But
and I will say,
that guy is, he needs to learn how to fight before he tells a woman that they can't fight. At least learn how to throw a punch so you don't embarrass the whole entire combat sports community over there at ESPN. I mean, it's unbelievable that a guy that has never probably even been to a fight before, now he's commentating for the biggest combat sports organization in the world, the UFC. Yeah. He's commentating for them. Really doesn't know what he's talking about, and we're just going to stop now because I don't want to go on a tangent.
He's getting heated up.
No, but then the reason why I'm throwing shade is I'm just going to say this because ESPN right now is blocked from actually covering BKFC. And that's a damn shame that the biggest sports reporting agency in the world is blocked from covering us because we're competition.
Affiliation.
This is it's unbelievable. I mean, it's great. It's great in one way, but
it's ridiculous.
I mean, we reached out to them, our publicist, our PR person, Jen Wank and Bernie. They reached out to them a couple different times, and they both said that ESPN was not allowed to cover us. They're not allowed to cover us.
That's sad, but also as an organization, we should almost be happy about that because that shows that we are almost a threat to them. I would think.
Oh, I don't know if we're a threat, and I don't want to go out there like that. But I will say I will say that. Look, our fights are unbelievable.
If you're a sporting organization, if if there's any integrity, journalistic integrity left, you not covering a combat sport because it could be a potential competitor. I mean, that's a conflict of interest. You should be unbiased while reporting on sports. If they start their own basketball league, they're going to stop reporting on LeBron James. It's just
soon, ridiculous. and not to be arrogant for the organization, but soon they're going to have no choice but to cover us. They have to cover us. People are going to be like, "How are you not covering that?"
I mean, when we put cards on in fights like we did, and also we'll get to this in a little while. The association we're seeing now that could be happening is an investment with Shaquille O'Neal. That's huge. There's going to be a lot in our favor, and it's not just the names.
Shaquille O'Neal's used or the investments used?
Both, man. Shaq was gigantic. I stood next to him. Like, if you think Shaq's big on TV, he gave me like a pound fist bump. It's bigger than my head, his hand.
When I saw him sitting down, and then I'm talking to him, and I'm taller than him then, and he gets up, I'm up to like his belly button almost. I was like, holy shit, he's big.
There's some great shots when he's in the ring presenting the 135-pound title to Dat, where you can see you standing next to him or me standing. We just look like the smallest people in the world.
It was so funny. So let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll get on to the rest of the thing. So I said, "Yo, Shaq, you want to present the belt to her?" And he's like, "Yeah." I mean, to him, to the winner of the 135-pound championship, and he's like, "Yeah." So he gets in the ring, and he saw how bloody they were. He goes, "Can I just lay it on her or something? I don't want to get blood on me." I'm like, "We got it, man." No problem.
You're wearing camouflage, Shaq. Nobody's gonna see the blood. It's all right. You look good.
Nah, he's awesome, man. He was funny the whole night. Remember when the one guy hurt his knee, Martin Brown?
Yeah.
Martin Brown hurt his knee, and he said, "Get
some icy hot."
Get some icy hot."
Is that what he said to him?
He used to endorse icy hot. I said, "Where's the icy hot? Where's the icy hot?"
See, the thing too about Shaq that I can see, and you guys had more interaction because I was working backstage the whole night, is that he's not just some person that people throw out in front of the camera to make us look good. He actually knows the product, likes the. I saw Joe Elmore walk by, who's going to be main eventing our next show, and Shaq was like shouting him out. Like, Shaq knows, he follows it, and he's into it. So it's not just a celebrity that's being paraded around like other organizations do. I think that makes me happy as a person that is behind this as well.
He's a fan. Yeah. He's a fan. He loves the product. And speaking to Shaq, he's awesome, man. As a celebrity, I mean, I'd be pissed off. The amount of people that came out, asked for interviews.
I can't see that. He said I could dunk on Shaq.
We'll set that up. That'll be the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, he really took care of all the fans, and he was so interactive with everyone. Shaq was awesome.
He was wonderful.
Great.
He was wonderful.
So let's just light up the comment section real quick.
Hold on, let me give a shout out. Big Ben is in the comment section.
He's one, right? He's
Big Ben. He was our ultimate fan experience from the podcast.
You know what was great about it, man, is he soaked it in. Like, he loved every second of it. He was a good fan.
He was so grateful.
He saw everything. He saw the behind the scenes. He saw the chairs flipping. He saw everything as we put this fight together to the whole thing, and he loved every minute of it, man. So
I'll say this about Big Ben. At the end of Knuckle Mania, he came up and he was like a kid in a candy store. He was so happy. He had the time of his life. And, we love doing this. But at the end of the shows, that's like our finish line because, bullets are flying, as people like to say here in the organization. So there's a lot leading up to that show. So when we're done, we're like, oh. And he was so happy. And it made me happy because I know all the work that we put into producing the show. You can now see that, how much he enjoyed it. So that's always good to see. Shout out to you, Big Ben. That's awesome.
Man, that's awesome. So just on Shaq, who wants to see Shaq fight
Barkley?
Who wants to see Shaq fight?
I want to see him fight Barkley.
Bob Sapp called him out. Charles Barkley, that would be interesting. Who wants to see Shaq fight? I know he's not a professional fighter, but I mean, just look at him.
And look at the fist size. We couldn't even measure it.
Dude, that guy is so big. It's really impossible to, gauge his sheer size from a photo alone.
It's insane. Drop in the comment section who you'd want to see Shaq fight in bare knuckle. I'm curious. I'm saying Charles Barkley all day long, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, that would be a great fight.
That would be fun to watch.
I'd like to see Bob Sapp. That would be interesting.
I'd watch the Bob
Sapp.
Sapp
fighting there? Who's he fighting there? I mean, look, Bob Sapp comes out and fights. I mean, sometimes he comes out and grabs a paycheck and falls on his back real fast. But other times, man, he comes out and fights, man, and fights. So let's run down the rest of the card.
What else you want? What
Martin Brown. Let's talk about Martin Brown. Martin Brown I thought was going to go in there and look devastating, which he looked good. He definitely looked good. Zach Zane came to fight, and Martin Brown at some point twisted his knee, and I think he has a little bit of damage to his knee, which he's going under therapy right now.
It's never good.
He almost got the fight called on him because he went down. Do you remember? He went down.
Yeah.
And the referee, he got up limping, and the referee
dragging
let him
his
continue.
leg. Yeah.
And he walked right over to the guy, limped over to Zach Zane, and knocked him out.
Wow.
I mean, that's what it's all about, though, right?
That's why bare knuckle's
all
awesome.
about. You're literally on your last leg, right?
True.
You don't have your fight's about to be stopped, and you only have one thing to do is knock this guy out because there's no way you're making it another 2 rounds on one leg. The referee isn't going to let you. So you limp over there and you knock this guy Zach Zane out. Zach Zane, who is a tough customer, and you go on to put yourself in line for a possible 155-pound title shot. I mean, he had everything that day.
A lot of heart.
I mean, he fought really good. He had a game guy in front of him, but I want to see the part where there it is.
Yeah.
Look, watch him. He can't even walk.
He's probably with his mind now.
I mean, what kind of heart is that?
It's amazing.
Man? It's unbelievable. And that's, when people say, you guys aren't skilled, you're not this, you're not that. I mean, come on, man. Look at the heart on these guys. These guys are the baddest motherfuckers in the planet. They are, man.
Skill and heart.
They are.
You can't take that away. Heart.
It's great. And look, not only that, I just saw one of the doctors. We have 2 of the best fight doctors in the business on our organization, Dr. Don Muzi, and I don't know the other gentleman's name, but he came in. He's also in Massachusetts and Florida. But, I mean, it's amazing. And there's Evan Zentar always trying to get into the picture.
Evan's always getting the best shots. Evan gets great shots. You see him going around there, and then you see him on social media, the close-ups.
That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. I actually saw one headline. Hold on. I want to pull up this headline.
As you're pulling up the headline, I'll say that everything you're saying, it's funny because in the USA Today article with Shaq, he kind of said the same thing. He said, these are the best athletes. These are doesn't get much better than this. So again, we're not the only ones saying this. There's other people saying it. We're seeing it from fans all the time, Rob. And I know you talk to the fans and you see that as well a lot. I mean, you're encountering that as well.
Yeah, so the comments, all the comments and the reception coming from this fight was, wow, I am a fan. A lot of people heard about Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. They may have seen the first event or the second event, which obviously is a growing process. In the beginning stages of anything, you're learning, the fighters are learning, they're tweaking. But as the sport grows, as the fighters grow with the sport, you're going to see more advancement, you're going to see more technicality, you're going to see just a whole other level.
You see different styles of bare knuckle fighting,
look
too.
Look at that headline.
What's the headline?
BKFC Knuckle Mania results and highlights. Bloodbaths, knockouts, and one-legged man winning an ass-kicking contest. I mean, that gets the headline.
That's what you want to see.
I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but that's awesome, man. Awesome.
That's a great headline. Yeah, hold it up here so they'll zoom in for it. Oh, they got it. That's the production truck gets everything done quickly. As soon we're not seriously, we don't have like a rundown. They just put this right up. So kudos to them. But no, that's a great headline, and it's very true. And I feel like anybody that watched, here's the cool thing. As you're saying, we're learning as we put this on, and I've never seen an organization that kind of we learn, but the fans are along for the ride. They can see everything. We're very transparent at what's going on, and I think they're happy to be a part of it as well. That's cool to see. Matter of fact, at the press conference, I've never seen an organization do that. We were actually taking quotes and questions from you, the fans, and asking the fighters. So I'm sure we'll be doing more of that too. It's very cool how we do the fan interaction. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So I actually just got a text message. I just want to let you guys know we're working on behind the scenes. We're working on a docu-series, unscripted series for Netflix right now, and I think we just got the official thumbs up.
Am I the last to know?
I didn't know about it.
Well, because you guys, you know, it's like telefax, telephone, tell a friend, tell Brian, tell Rob, tell the world. So I'm pretty sure we got that locked up. I can't wait to make that announcement because that's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be about the backgrounds of these fighters. It's going to be how they come into bare knuckle fighting, everything about their life. They're not going to live together.
Okay.
It's gonna, they're going to be separate. It's going to be an amazing thing. I've been working on this thing, literally this thing, since the first event.
I've heard you speak of it before. Yeah, I've heard you speak of it. And the thing is, I think though that as far as we've talked about this, I think that what the people don't see is going to be such a selling point. There's so much that we don't produce that you don't see that's amazing. So I'm hoping that can kind of show the behind the scenes workings because that's part of the story too.
And what you were talking about with Jared Grant, being homeless, and the Road to Knuckle Mania, that 3-part series, if the fans didn't get a chance to check that out, rewatch that. Incredible. You're talking about two different polarizing people and their stories and the road which built up to Britain versus Paige.
So before we, I'm going to have to cut out of here. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm going to Miami today. I have a bunch of meetings for some really big
Vice
stuff tomorrow.
City, man.
Really, really big stuff. We're going to come back with some huge signings tomorrow.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
you got a couple of names that you can drop for the chat, or you want to save that for next week's podcast?
We're going to come back with some good signings tomorrow.
Can you also come back with a souvenir keychain that says Miami on it for me? I'd love one of those.
You said something, Dave. You said something in the beginning.
You look like Don Johnson a little bit.
I do. I'm a good-looking Don Johnson. All right, I'll take that.
You said a specific person's name in the beginning, and what we're actually going to do, so the chat knows, what we're going to do from now on, we're going to say a secret word in the very beginning.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
So it's the first name that I said at the beginning of this broadcast. The first name, you get a shirt, a hat,
and a pair
basically a merchandise pack. You get a pair of our BKFC gloves, patented actually.
I haven't even seen them yet.
When you try to, we get. I don't know why we're giving them David Jr. I have no idea, but Rob
I just grabbed them, man.
This morning, and he wanted to hit something, and he said, "Let's give him the gloves."
I want the gloves.
So we have a T-shirt, a hat, the gloves, and maybe we're going to throw in some other stuff. So who can tell me the first name that I said on this podcast today? If you tell me the first name, first person to tell me the first name that I said on this podcast today, you will receive the fan pack. Who is it?
Fake user 87, blue shirt dude is in a husry.
I love his name.
What does he need to take his pills? Stop watching the fucking watch.
Fake user's a great name.
Man, that's why I love the chat. He's busting.
Stop looking at your watch. He said
he's
you're in a
chopping
hurry.
you up. Well, Dave
I
has
am
to
in
take
a watch.
off,
I have a flight, my man. I do have a flight.
Is that a Rolex?
Somebody gave the right answer.
James Warfield, congratulations, James.
James Warfield's actually going to be making his BKF debut probably in April, definitely at the latest in May.
Wait, he's a fighter?
Oh my God, he threw down with Louis Palomino, had a war with him. Yeah, he's an awesome fighter.
Well, we can't give him the merch too, can we?
Well, I mean, he's not signed yet, so yeah.
Okay. All right. I was gonna. All right, well, let's give it to him, and then someone else's.
And let's give one more person. We can't give the same one, but yeah, we'll do
Is that the second?
Who is it? Chad Burkhart? Is that the
now it has to be. Now that you said it.
Nah, sorry, Chad.
Chad, we love
Actually,
you.
give it to Chad Burkhart too. And who's that?
Strike 3 is that what it says?
Strike 3. Striker?
Is DC in there? Is DC in there? Make sure he gets the 3 names.
Strike 3, you're out.
Strike 3 for the win?
Yeah, right. How's that work?
So listen, guys, man, I got to cut out of here. I am looking at my watch, my man. Sorry, but I got to bust out there. I got a flight to go to Miami. We're going to come back with some good signings, meeting some really good people down there. Please talk about the rest of the show. Finish it up. It was a phenomenal show. Just real quick, if you want to talk before I go I know you guys wanted to talk about Paige a little bit and what her future was.
Is Paige done? So that's the title. That's what's been heard around the dressing room.
Everybody's saying this.
So they just did an article yesterday, heavy.com, which is a really good up-and-coming site, and they interviewed me. And I don't know if you can zoom in on that. Can you zoom in on that?
It says Paige VanZant gets rave review. She delivered what I wanted. So that was your quote, right, Dave?
Yeah. So, we signed Paige VanZant for a couple of reasons. We signed her because we thought she was going to put on a good fight, which she did. She started off a little slow. She adapted, and then she found her rhythm. She found out where she should be. So a lot of people are asking me, are you going to use Paige VanZant again because she lost and your money tree went down the tubes and this and that and the other thing. So let's elaborate on that just for a second. Paige VanZant started slow. She found herself and she finished really good. That impressed me. Had she started fast, finished really slow, and maybe wanted to quit, that would not have impressed me and she would not have been back. But she found herself. I think that her next fight, she's really going to fight a different fight. She got used to it, and I think she's going to look really good.
So she's not done?
She's not done. She's definitely going to fight again. And then the second thing here is it was a 2-for-1 because now we have a new BKFC star that we can build ourselves, and that's Britain Hart. So it worked both ways. I think people will want to see Paige fight again. I think because she did fight. Like it's not like she ran and held and didn't want to fight. She engaged and she fought and she finished strong. So I think, let the fans tell us. You guys want to see Paige at all? You want to see her fight maybe one of our former fighters? Who?
Yeah,
the Queen?
Who would be a great matchup for Paige?
You guys want to see her fight again? And then,
I can say this, Dave. When I was doing the show with Paige last night, I don't remember if it was on the air or off the air, she said this to me, but she said that when she got to the 5th round, as we all stated, a lot of people on social media everywhere stating the same thing, she found herself. She said she remembered when the Boswick fight went to the 6th round, and she said in her mind she was thinking, God, I wish there was another round. Like, there's another round I could have taken. I just wish there was one more round. I wish they would do that. So to piggyback.
So did you see that one shot that went on Instagram? Actually, great shot Evan had. Evan, can you show that shot where Paige hit Britt. Britt kind of pushed her mouthpiece or her teeth back in. Yeah. I don't know what it was, and she kept going. These chicks are unbelievable. Really, they're unbelievable.
No, it's incredible.
She had her teeth pushed back in her mouth. Right there. Look, watch. Watch her hand now.
Great shot and great composure.
She either put her mouthpiece back in or her teeth back in. Yeah, look, watch.
Oh. And she said
she lost her teeth.
That was the hardest she's ever been hit in her entire life.
Unbelievable. Man, Britain, I know you're not listening. You're on a plane back from Cali, but man, do I take my hat off to you. And I can't wait to see you fight again, man.
Yeah, we're going to have Britain Hart on the podcast next week. She was actually traveling today. We were going to have her on, but we're going to have her next week. So she's going to be here in studio answering questions.
That's going to be great.
Guys, I'm gonna jump now so I don't miss the flight. But what I do want you to do is give away one more shirt and hat to somebody.
Okay,
we can do that. Yeah, thank you for that, Dave.
Should I just jump off? I'll jump off. See you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna go take a quick commercial
break.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. There goes Dave. What were you getting ready to say there before?
So we're gonna come back to it, but Paige said something to you. Paige said she's done fighting. So I'm gonna talk about that when we come back from this quick commercial break, guys. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, we'll be back in 1 minute.
Yeah, I guess. However long. I'll be here until they tell me to stop being here. So I'm just sitting here. I'm going to pretend the camera's on the whole time. I'll probably keep talking the whole time. That's what I do. But listen, keep the comments going in the chat. And I guess we should leave them with a question. Maybe we talked about if you want to see Paige fight again and who you want to see her fight. We'd like you to continue to talk about that and in the comments. In about a minute, we'll come back. We'll talk about the fact, like you said, that she said she might not want to fight anymore. And there's a lot of other stuff from behind the scenes from Knuckle Mania. Maybe go through the top 3 matches as well. It'll be a good time. I love hanging out with my buddy Rob here, man, and you guys too. So we'll be back in about a minute. Don't count, though, because I'm never right.
Tiger Life is not about race or religion, black or white, young or old, male or female. It's not about where you live or where you're from. It's about finding your why in life. Tiger Life is a way of life. It's a purpose, a light, the future. We all have a story to tell, so let's tell it. It's time to be heard. Just remember, we may not be able to rewrite our story, but we sure as hell can change the ending. Tiger Life. Energy never tasted so good. Tiger Life is not about race or religion, black or white, young or old, male or female. It's not about where you live or where you're from. It's about finding your why in life. Tiger Life is a way of life. It's a purpose, a light, the future. We all have a story to tell, so let's tell it. It's time to be heard. Just remember, we may not be able to rewrite our story, but we sure as hell can change the ending. Tiger Life. Energy never tasted so good.
We're back on,
and we're
I
live,
can never
baby.
tell.
Yeah.
See, they let a moron with a microphone kind of start to control things, and you never know if you're on or you're off. That's why we have our wonderful guys in production helping us out here. It's Brian Soch. I'm here with Rob. I don't want to call you Awkward Rob, whatever David called you.
Rob's
Is that
good,
your name?
Man. I like it.
All right, they do call you that. I guess can I call you that to your face now, Awkward Rob?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. That's fine.
I think you're great, though, Rob. So a lot of stuff to talk about. Before we left you, we were talking about how Paige VanZant made a comment. You saw it hitting all the MMA, all the boxing, all the fighting websites about how she was contemplating quitting fighting after bare knuckle.
That's what I heard.
Is Paige VanZant done fighting? Do you know? I know.
I'm going to leave it up to you as I crack open this Tiger Life.
That's it. Hey, you know what? Let's cheers Tiger Life. We love man. Tiger Life.
Yeah, they're
I
awesome.
do. It's not just because they're a sponsor. This is what kept me going the whole time at Knucklemania. Anyway, so... Paige had made that comment, and on the radio show that I was doing with her, she talked about that a little more, kind of revealed a little more. She said that I've never been a full-time fighter. I've never done that, so I don't know the feeling, but she said fighters can go through these range of emotions when they lose, and she said that she felt that she was going to be done fighting, and she said she told Austin Vanderford, who is also a fighter in Bellator, that she was thinking about quitting, but she said as soon as she said that, she was kind of dejected after the loss. I think her ego was bruised, everything, and she said that
it's an emotional dump after a fight.
Even if you win, it's emotional in a different kind of way.
And we'll get to Britton Hart's post.
She's not
that termed an international meme.
I've never interviewed somebody that's a person, or excuse me, that's a feeling and not a person. My first feeling interview. We'll talk about Britton in a little bit. You're right, but yeah, Paige was ready to quit, and apparently she said to Austin that she was going to quit. But she said, being the fighter she is, as soon as she said that, as soon as they came out of her mouth, those words, she almost wanted to push him back in. And Austin was very supportive and helped her out. She said it was just that I think she trained so hard, and she was let down. She was let down with a loss. So I think that's why she said she was going to quit. But she's ready to come back. She said she wanted to fight in April. I don't know if it's going to happen, but she said she's ready to ride the momentum because during the 5th round she found herself, and now she knows. I feel like now she's like a machine that wants to go destroy kind of thing. Yep. And she also said she doesn't deserve another rematch with Britton Hart yet. She thinks she needs to fight her back up, which she handled her defeat with a lot of grace last night on the radio show, which that was awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I mean, she took it. In the 5th round, I mean, she just found that extra gear. And if there would have been a 6th round, I don't know if Britton would have pulled it off. And Britton even said that she's never been hit harder, in her entire life.
Well, and she even said, she said at our presser, she said that, and not trying to go down this road, but she had some in her life, she had a history of domestic abuse, and she even said she's been hit by men. So she was saying that anybody that says that Paige doesn't hit hard or is just here like as a girly girl, it's nothing further from the truth. So she was kind of let everybody know, be aware, Paige, you feel it when she hits you. And like we said before, I think Britton said that she got some of her teeth knocked out. I mean, she's no stranger. Push back. That happened. Didn't that was the Beck Rollins match that happened with her? Did she fight Beck Rollins? That happened.
She did. I'm not sure if she lost a tooth or not.
It got pushed back, I think, in that match. But kudos to Britton Hart. She saw what was in front of her. She was given opportunity, and I think that she knew this could be a life changer for her. And she's a really nice woman, and I'm glad it happened. And she worked her tail off to get here. And I love the quote that her coach said in the road to about the lion. You remember the quote?
Yeah.
About you can be a lion in the jungle, but when you get thrown in the ocean, you turn to fish food. And I mean, that's kind of what happened.
Tough shit.
Yeah,
That's some real shit right there.
That guy was the man. He was a star. Watch that documentary if you haven't seen it yet. So that match, look, it didn't let me down. I enjoyed watching the fight. I enjoyed watching Britain cut. She was cutting the ring off. Britain was ready to go, man.
Britain Hart, her room was across from ours at the hotel. And we got down, I think, on Tuesday. And every night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, probably until like 1 o'clock in the morning, you hear her hitting the pads.
In her hotel room?
Yes. Non-stop. She was training until literal bedtime. Probably, past her bedtime, whatever that might mean. But, I mean, she really, really wanted it. She put in the time, and she was going to the bell she was training. So
you could see the drive in her. You could see it in her eyes when she got there. I thought that I asked Paige about it on the show last night. I asked her, I said, apprehension. I said, you get there, you've never fought bare knuckle. Did you have apprehension when you got there? Were you a little more nervy than normal? And she seemed to think she was kind of. I kind of saw that even if you looked at the pre-match, and this is just my opinion, when they go back and show them getting ready in the locker room, pure opinion. I thought that Britain looked a little more confident than Paige did in her eyes, and more than one person said that. Because again, it's different saying you're going to fight for this great amount of money and wanting to do it in training, but then you're there and you have to do it. And I asked her, I said, did you see the first match? Because I thought if she saw Cigla and Starling, then she might be reconsidering. She didn't see the match, but she said she saw their faces and she was like, whoa, they had a war.
Yeah, that was a bloodbath.
It's a lot to play on your mind when you're making your debut.
Absolutely. But I think the difference in that fight versus
big difference.
Yeah, Paige and Britain's fight was the head movement. The way that they're able to roll with the punches. And a lot, I'm talking thousands and thousands of fans. Yeah. Don't fight. You're going to fuck your face up.
Yep.
Please beep that. But, that's what the fans are saying. You're going to mess your face up. We don't want to see you. I mean, I'm sure we have a photo of her post-fight. I mean, she looks like she has a little cut. She has had worser battles in her mixed martial arts career.
But it's funny you're saying this, Rob, because last night when we did the show, I see her, and I thought in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, well, after the fight, if it ends badly, she's going to look really beat up.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, that's her. But listen, that's with no makeup.
It's a 5-round war. Bare knuckle fight right there.
Any bare knuckle fight can be a war. Yeah. So, I mean, you're going in there. But when I sat across from her last night and did the show, because she had some makeup on too, you could not even tell she was in a fight. And she said she had a couple stitches that you couldn't really see down by her eyes. She said she didn't know she needed them, but it'll make the scoring a little less.
That's her now.
Yeah, that was her. I think she was in the Keys. Her
Is that
parents
her now or her from a year from now? A year past. I mean, she looks phenomenal. Yeah. So all the haters out there saying she's going to ruin her face and her career's over, this, that, and the other. What do you think now? Yeah. Literally in the comments section, let us know, because I'm sure there's some people in the comments that were very unsure. She's just a face. She can't throw hands. She's not a real fighter. I mean, I was impressed. I was really impressed.
How about this comment here? Taylor Starling versus PVZ. Both second fight for the BKFC. And I kind of am not going to lie. I don't know if that happens right away, but I thought that too. You have a girl.
Jose has a point.
A woman.
He's got a great point.
And I'd want to see that,
Yeah, that could be a stellar fight.
That's a great job, Jose. It's a great idea. But I mean, we're talking a lot of Paige here. Let's talk our other fights as well. We had I see Dat must be on here. Dat is on here.
Dat, the champ.
Shout out, champ. Shout out to you, man. You said you were going to do it, and you did it. We have deep respect for that. Johnny Bedford, brutal. Johnny Bedford, who was amazing in his own right.
Yep.
Who was going in the champ versus
undefeated. Went into that 5-0
straight up. Well, that was he 2 or 3-0 going in? I think too.
Yeah, he was 2-0 going into that. Johnny going into that fight, he really was head and shoulders above all his previous opponents. I mean, there were a couple close rounds, but I mean, he dominated the fights that he was in, and he did so in extreme fashion.
Yeah.
So I personally thought that Johnny was going to come in, he was going to knock him out in the first 2 or 3, and that was going to be that.
I just thought, and I think David Feldman thought the same thing. I think he might have said it to Sean and Chris on the broadcast that I thought that was definitely be a fight of the night contender. And
for sure.
I think it was a hell of a fight. I still think it was a great fight. I was excited to see Dat fight live. I've never seen him fight live. Just excited for the fight as a whole. Like, it's one of those things where the fans are going to be the winners, at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. What a match that was.
It delivered.
It was awesome.
Johnny seemed to think that he could have squeaked it out. He thinks he could have won. He said the post-fight presser about he'd like a rematch, and Dat said he'd be down to do a rematch. We'll see what happens. But it was fun to watch Johnny, but Dat as well. Dat has an interesting style. Dat's quick, man. He's quick, and he's very confident.
He comes from a professional boxing background.
Which doesn't always work well, but it seems to work for Dak because he's smart.
Yeah. I mean, he came in, his hands are ridiculously quick, ridiculously fast. And he took some hard shots from Johnny. He took some very, very hard shots, and they were going back and forth. I'm impressed. You know, I was already a fan of both of them, but like Dave said, you have skill, you have heart, and you know that just makes for amazing, exciting fights for everybody.
And I know it happens a lot of times, but I love leading up to it. That Dat just was saying what Dat wanted to say. Johnny was basically calling him a nerd and a geek, which I always thought that was funny when you say things like that. But Johnny was going back at him, and it did seem a couple of these fights, and we don't know, but it seemed a little personal. And I think that at the post-fight press conference, which you should check out, it's on YouTube, I believe, you can see that they kind of gained. I believe Chris Lytle said it on the broadcast. You can't fight somebody that hard for 5 rounds and not come out of it and have some type of respect for them. You went to war together. Yeah. So I think the respect was built a little bit on that night as well. I do. And what a match. Thank you for that, Dad. I know you're watching. And Johnny, if you're watching, thank you for that match. It was great to watch. And I also thank the women in the first match because, look, they get the card started off right. We can produce things.
Talk about setting the stage and setting the table.
Yeah, and then Johnny and Dat kept it up. Everyone, the whole card, you all kept it up. But then Johnny and Dat, the co-main's got to be good, and it was good.
Yeah.
And before the co-main, we had, I mean, what an honor to be having Chris Lieben, the crippler Chris Lieben's last ever fight.
Final appearance.
Retirement against Quentin Henry, who in his own right, Quentin Henry, the hero. I think he's going to be one of the biggest stars we have. I love that guy.
Yeah. Quentin's going to be taking he took on an extremely, extremely hard opponent. I don't think people understand. You know, Chris Lieben is a world-class fighter. I mean, a world-class. He fought the best in the world.
Oh, yeah.
From Vanderlei Silva to Anderson Silva. I mean, he's fought some of the best.
He's fought
Win, lose, you know, his experience is second to none. So it was an honor, and Quentin was very respectful just going into the match. An honor to fight Chris Lieben.
Let's talk about Quentin Henry and the fact that what a man he is, what a competitor he is. The fact that he got punched Knuckle in the eye, thought he got poked in the eye. They said, you're going to lose if you don't fight. He flat out said he couldn't see when I spoke to him afterwards. And then he said to me that he didn't think Lieben would want the fight to end this way, and he owed Lieben more than that, essentially. So he went after. He said, let's go. I want to fight. I come here to fight. Let's fight. And that's the kind of athlete we like to see in the BKFC. And I think Quentin Henry already had Lieben's respect because I think Lieben picked him as a farewell opponent.
He did. He called him out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I mean, Did you hear what Quentin Henry said at the end at the press conference? He said, "I got knocked out. It wasn't fun. But if you would have told a 15-year-old me I'd be getting knocked out by Chris Lieben, I would have given my left nut to get knocked out by Chris." He said, "I have that." I think all the fighters understand that, and it's interesting because I get to see from another perspective because I'm back behind the backdrop before they walk out doing interviews. So as Chris Lieben walked out, I mean, I got a little emotional knowing this is the end for him in a certain way, but I was watching around. It was a curtain cell. A lot of fighters were there watching him on his final go-around, and I didn't see all dry eyes. I'm not going to call anybody out, but there were some people you never thought would have a tear in their eye that did. So it was an emotional moment, and I was proud to be able to do the post-fight interview with him. And just after a barn burner, Lieben said it. He wouldn't want to go out any other way. I mean, it's perfect. He wins. It's a slugfest, and he has respect for Henry, who, again, is going to go a long way here. His
final performance, knockout. You know,
he doesn't have his hair. I saw him last night, Chris Lieben, and he doesn't have his hair red anymore. I said to him, like, your hair's not red. He goes,
that was the throwback coming out of nowhere with the red hair. That's awesome.
Well, here's what he said. It was awesome. He goes, my hair's not red anymore. I said, why not? He goes, well, because I'm 40. He just shaved it off, and he said after a while it's red when you walk out there, but then turn pink like the next day. He said pink's not a good look for me. He said I'm scary enough looking around my beach community, and all these soccer moms are looking at me now. I got red hair too. He's like, I gotta cut it because Lieben is like the nicest guy in the world when you meet him, but he looks like a scary dude. He really does, and.
He hits like a scary guy.
He is a scary dude if you fight him. Yeah. But if you're talking to him, he seems like a wonderful guy.
What a great match between him and Quentin Henry. I can't wait to see Quentin Henry back. I know he's coming back.
I love that Henry comes with the Hulk Hogan's theme song too, quite honestly. You know the Hawkster will love that. You got the blue blockers he's wearing. And I just, you know, when I look at Quentin Henry, Chris Lieben, I look at it, again, a great ending to a wonderful career, and I'm glad that we could provide that at BKFC. Now, I asked Chris, and he kind of talked about that. Maybe you have a little more info on this. if he's leaving, what his next step is. And it seems like he's interested in kind of helping the younger talent at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, not only as far as, business wise and how to train them, but also, he's gone through his struggles. So he can show them a better way. And I think he's really happy to be able to do that. So if he becomes part of our team, and two, you're seeing Bare Knuckle, Paige was saying this, Bare Knuckle, you don't have a lot of gyms that are doing bare knuckle. Now you're seeing, strangely, there's different forms of bare knuckle. Like you're seeing, here's a brawler. This guy's a boxer. So you're seeing different styles emerge. And I think it'd be cool if you have somebody who debuts, like Paige, who's never done bare knuckle. You can't train doing a bare knuckle fight, really. Well, you have Liebentravel around or come in there and say something like, all right, here's what you can be expecting. Kind of like a liaison. I think that would be a great role for him as the sport grows.
Absolutely. And currently he's been doing and helping out with the tryouts across the country, looking for new fighters. Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to be in Biloxi, Mississippi on March 19th for BKFC 16.
It's going to be good.
I believe there's going to be a tryout. We'll have the official information, though. So Chris might be there. So it kind of ties everything together. But, yeah, he's been helping behind the scenes, helping with the tryouts, interviewing fighters. And like you said, he's walked the path. He can tell you,
every level.
Yeah. What not to do. That's the most important thing, is avoiding those pitfalls, avoiding those, temptations, if you will, in life, and what to do, what not to do, and to
That's what he
make
said
a career
night.
out of it.
He said that last night. He goes, I guess I could kind of be a role model to show them what not to do. And I said, either way, man. And two, he understands, and we talked about this last night as well. He understands when we're at tryouts and you're looking at the punching power.
Flat Earth.
And you're looking at the punching power, and you're looking at, these young, he understands the athlete like maybe you or I couldn't. And he also talked about last night, he not all fighters understand this, and it's a battle that I have that I'm trying to get them to understand. He said 50% is your fighting, 50% is entertainment. And I know we both agree with that. And I asked him, I said, why is it sometimes that fighters don't want to do the entertainment aspect of it? And he's like, they just need to be kind of taught that and shown that. He says it's not within them. So if he can help with that, he can say, wait, this guy's marketable. Because come on, he's a marketable guy too, Lieben, if you're talking business. He could be a guy to point people out to us. And I think what a benefit on so many levels. It'd be an honor to have him here.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's not retiring, as he said. He's moving to his next chapter. And I can't wait to see what he could do to help benefit all fighters. The fight game, he's got so much knowledge. He's got so much knowledge. So Lieben will be cool. What they doing, the punch machine here? I think we're looking at.
Yeah, they're measuring the punch stats of the fighters, the strength when you actually.
Didn't
hit
Shoemaker
the machine.
break that?
Yeah, Shoemaker has the record. I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. He hit the punch meter in his debut. So Sam Shoemaker came out to Philadelphia to try out as a BKFC
at
fighter.
the ECW arena. If you're a wrestling fan,
At
is
the
where
ECW
the
arena
so you know.
in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hits the machine, sets a record, shows up to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 1, and totally annihilates Eric Prindle. I mean, Eric Prindle is a huge, huge, scary-looking human being with a with a background in MMA, boxing, and just combat sports. And Sam just came in and showed what he could do. And these tryouts, Chris Lieben, he's going to be looking for those type of fighters. He's going to be looking for those, those hitters.
So we're talking Sam Shoemaker here. I know coming up April 16th, it's looking like him versus Joey Beltran for the heavyweight title, which that's going to be a heavy hit, and I can't wait for that. But
I'm excited about that too.
But April 16th is my birthday as well, so you can bring me presents.
Oh,
but
happy birthday.
Yeah,
happy
man.
21st.
It's my 21st. Like I say, buy me a drink in Miami. And then before that, though, right here now, coming up our next event, the date, what's the actual date on that?
March 19th, Friday, March 19th.
Dude, I'm
on the
pumped.
BKTV app. So
Yeah,
we're back
that's where
on,
you're
back
gonna
on
get
the app.
Wow.
Normal price.
Main event, though.
Yeah,
What
$5.99.
I'm a huge fan of Joe Elmore. I love Joe Elmore. I can't wait. This guy, I fear that Joe Elmore will die one day. Seriously,
In
rather,
the ring
rather
fighting.
than losing. And he'd be happy to do that. He's such a warrior. He won't stop. He will not stop. And I want to see Bad Boy Garcia too. It's a good matchup. And I'm glad that Joe Elmore, the Hitman 187, gets a main event here too, because he deserves it. He's been fighting his heart out. And I look at him. He punches himself in the head. He does. He does that. He told me.
It's on a whole other level. I thought this guy was going to be
loved
a flash in the pan.
Not
That
me,
he's
I
just
loved him.
all show. He got I was at the fight where he knocked out. Knocked out Shope. I'm like, that was kind of lucky. And then he gets into the ring.
Hold on, wait a minute. He didn't just knock him out. But hold on, he
Not
just
Tom
knocked him
Shope,
out.
excuse me.
No, Shope. He knocked Tom Shope. Or that fight. that was insane. The punishment he took. You don't want to undersell the punishment with Tom Shoaf. I mean, this guy, his face, I think he bit a piece of his tongue off, he said.
Yeah.
He like pushed a piece of his head back in or something. Joe Elmore is an absolute warrior. I can't wait to watch him fight.
This fight, Joe Elmore, Tom Shoaf, was probably one of my favorite fights of all time. Because you're talking like, you know, Gotti Ward style.
Yeah.
I mean, back and forth, getting dropped and knocked down. And Shoaf, you know, he put a lot of damage. He put a lot of damage on Elmore, and I'm like, it's over. Elmore's gonna throw in the towel.
And Shoaf was getting frustrated every time he get knocked down. You see him shake his head. He was getting frustrated.
Yeah, but and Elmore did not quit. He didn't. There is no quitting that
No.
guy. And he earned a whole other level of respect from me. And
Actually, during that fight, I don't know if the
fighter.
camera caught it. He was getting beat up pretty good. I mean, he was standing toe to toe, but he was getting punched. And I think the doctors were thinking, should we call this? And he got in their face and was like, "Don't you?" On the BKTV app available at is it
BKFC.com.
Keep it straight.
BKFC.com. So
And it's only how much are we charging for the app now?
$5.99.
Nothing.
That's it.
That's nothing. That's
If
dirt
you have
cheap.
the app, it's free.
Yeah,
If you
so-
have a subscription, it's that's what comes with the app.
Wow.
So.
And you get all the extra content too. So we're looking forward to that fight. We'll talk more about that fight coming up. I'd love to get Joe Elmore on one of these things because he's great to talk to as well.
Let's get him next week.
We'll try to.
So we're gonna get Britton Hart, Joe Elmore on the podcast next week with the fans.
See, what Rob's doing is Rob's planning this live on the podcast. Now we have to do it. There's no.
I know. If they don't show up, I'm gonna look like a total jerk off, and the whole chat is gonna destroy me.
Hey, listen, guys. I know that I know that we've had a great time today. And I don't think you really got destroyed today, Rob, which is awesome.
I appreciate
They
it.
didn't
I've been
destroy
doing some
anybody.
sit-ups.
No, it's doing sit-ups.
Jeff Houston's in the house.
Oh, what's up,
Hey,
Jeff Houston?
What's
How
up,
you
man?
doing, man? Jeff Houston. Hello. I can't do it like you do.
Hey, let's
Jeff.
get Jeff. Are you available next week as well?
Let's just get everybody on.
We'll get everybody in
It'll
on
be
this.
awesome. It'll be awesome.
So we're gonna do this every Thursday.
Okay, are we?
Yep,
Good.
we're gonna do it every Thursday moving
I'm
forward.
excited.
We're gonna lock in the time either it's gonna be 11 o'clock or noon. So we're gonna talk to production, but
Who's going to be bringing lunch then? I mean, actually, Tiger Life's my lunch. It has so many vitamins and minerals in it. I love it. Is it minerals? I don't know. But it has vitamins, it has potassium, and it doesn't make me crash. Tiger Life. There's my commercial, but it's true. Honestly, look, it's done. It's that good. Rob, I think we're about done, too.
we're done, man. I appreciate it. Thank
Hey,
you
man,
so much.
we love to shake hands.
Absolutely.
You're knocking my mic down. They're going to yell at me now.
Same time next week.
Same Brian, Rob time, same
we
Brian,
got-
Rob. Oh, more
Yep,
giveaways.
last one. Yeah,
More
we got
giveaways.
another giveaway. We're going to be giving away an awesome BKFC hat. Brand new line of merch. Please check it out. At
I dig
shop,
that.
Shop. Which way? Where am I at? Good production, man.
I dig it. That's I'll talk you model. That's the brand new BKFC shirt. I'm a big fan of it. It's very simplistic, but it's awesome. Rob is wearing it now. He's modeling it. He's Vanna Whiting it. And then what else are we going to give out? The BKFC mask, which is very
I don't know if
important.
we have these or not.
Well, I don't know. Rob's just
got
putting
it
it
at
on.
the fight.
Maybe his breath is very bad. And he's trying to protect me from it. I don't know what he's doing. What else are we giving out? The hats and stuff
We're
too?
giving out a hat, t-shirt, and a pair of gloves.
Hat, t-shirt, and a pair of gloves. And how are we doing it? We can do it out of the chat?
Yeah.
So how do you wanna do it?
Let's give it away in the chat.
Your favorite part of Knuckle Mania. Why don't we ask them what the best fight was in Knuckle Mania?
No. Really fast. Whoever can tell us who the main event for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 6 was. BKFC 6, main event.
Dude, you know a lot of keys are clicking right now if they know they're Googling.
I know.
I can hear them clicking.
5.
So first person
4,
that says that
3,
wins.
2, 1.
Let's see what we have. All right. Well, as we're waiting for this, we're just going to say again how excited we are that you guys are hanging out. We're going to be doing this again.
Big Ben is right. A mask does not protect you
from the
a
punch.
Love that dude. He's awesome.
Let's see. I want a ring girl outfit, BKFC branded. I'm already wearing all of them in my private life. We don't have to make them give out. Let's see. I hear production laughing. I'm glad you picked up on that. All right, there you go.
Alistar McGee.
Alistar McGee, we're going to contact you. You're going to get the hat.
Yeah,
the
shoot
shirt.
us a DM on Facebook
that what
or
we're doing?
Instagram. Yep, and
Okay.
then we'll get your contact information. We'll ship that out to you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see this, what's being shown now. I want to know why they Photoshopped my arms on this guy's thing I mean, at least
I don't know why they took. Yeah, why did they replace your head with this dude's head?
Yeah, they
man?
just Photoshopped everything on. It's ridiculous. At least they get a couple bucks for it. Anyway, there's Paige VanZant. Okay.
brand new line of merch. Go check it out.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. And I actually like that about us, too. I feel like our merch isn't corny. It's kind of, you want to wear it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't like that. So, awesome show. Yep. We'll be back again next Thursday, same time, same
place.
YouTube place, Facebook, wherever we're broadcasting. Man. Thank you to everybody for checking out Knuckle Mania. And thanks for hanging out with us today.
Signing off.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.
is not about race or religion, black or white, young or old, male or female. It's not about where you live or where you're from. It's about finding your why in life. Tiger Life is a way of life. It's a purpose, a light, the future. We all have a story to tell, so let's tell it. It's time to be heard. Just remember, we may not be able to rewrite our story, but we sure as hell can change the ending. Tiger Life. Energy never tasted so good.